Alright, so testing Ninjins raid extension. Um, I really wanted this mod mainly because to make like a scheduled raid weekend with all these different base building mods, you had to have basically 4 extra mods or 3. Yeah, no, 4. Because I don't normally use rag base building stuff, but with vanilla, building fortifications, expansion, and BVP, you had to have the raid schedule, um, the newer one, improved raid schedule, and then you also had to have at least 2 add-on mods for BVP and building fortifications. And then if you use another one like rag, you have to have an add-on for that. And it didn't work on Hunter Mods Bunker Tunnels. You know what I mean? Which, it's just a cool mod to have. But I still want to be able to set a raid schedule for everything. So I commissioned Ninjin to make this add-on or extension for his PvP PvE mod, so that way it can hook off of his zones and stuff like that to trigger it. So right now I have it off. The way he intended you to set it up would be to set up all the item restrictions with however you do the flag zone normally, and then during when it goes to PV or to raid, it'll take the restrictions off. But I'm kind of using it backwards to where the restrictions are active whenever it's a raid zone, just because I like to. I don't want to have any of these restrictions active normally during PvP. So this is all the stuff I got to say here. So block explosive damage, block bullet damage, block all raid action. I'm not sure if that does anything because I tried it without any of this stuff in here and it really didn't do anything. So yeah, but I got all this stuff set up and tested. Everything works pretty good. The only thing that doesn't work so far is some explosive damage on the rag stuff. If you shoot it with like an M79, it pops up and says it's blocked, but if you put a satchel down or C4 or something, it still blows the door off. So, not sure. And I'm not sure if it doesn't say it's blocked when you put a grenade down or anything either, so I don't know if that's actually damaging it or not. You can't really tell because it just disappears. It doesn't show like it's damaged. So, but I'm going to show you here that I have it off right now. Right now I have the flag zone in PvP. So it's not in raid. And this is set up for raid zone. So right here. So all this stuff is when a raid zone is active. Oh, and I also had the rearmed base building stuff just to test it a little bit, and it worked. You can't really block the explosive damage, so they do it a different way, and the only way to raid it is with their explosives that I know of. There might be a mod that changes that. I don't know. I don't normally use it. I just wanted to test it. But the only way to really block it that I found was to just block the putting down the C4s from deploying them. So, whoops. But that worked, to set it up. So, but I don't use it anyway. So whatever. And whenever I restarted my server, since I didn't actually put down one of their territories because they can't just use a freaking expansion territory, everything disappeared. So I'm not gonna put it back on there. Alright, so I just wanted to show you the hit points of this. So 39,500. I shot it earlier with it off, so let me just blow it up with a grenade. Actually, before I do that, let me Give myself God mode so I don't actually accidentally kill myself. There we go. There you go. So took it down a little bit. So now, what I'm going to do, that's the only way to really show you with a grenade, because I don't think it says it's blocking it, but it doesn't do any damage. I blew up all these with like a million grenades, and it didn't do anything when I had it active, so let me try it here. Flag zone, put that in, raid, save, and then reload zones. Just in case, I'll reload main too. Alright, so now you can see at the bottom left there, we're in a raid zone. That's the symbol. I gotta change that because I don't like the pink color, but the symbol's good. Alright. And it was at 37,000 before. And see at the top left there, explosive damage blocked. So it does tell you that. Still 37,000. So it does the same thing with all these items. If you, I'm not sure if I need to reload. But all these other items, it does the same thing. So if you shoot those, it does the same thing. I can't remember if the M79 gave me that when I was shooting this. Let's try it. Oh, I'll wait for those to disappear. There we go. So it does block the 40mm. I can't remember if it blocked a grenade. It does not block a satchel or an improvise though. Yeah, so it didn't. I don't know if it's actually damaging it because it doesn't show damage, and I blew up a bunch of grenades in front of it earlier and it didn't do anything, so that I know of. But like 2 satchels will blow the door off, 2 improvised C4s will blow the door off. So I'm not sure what's different about those, but if you shoot a rocket launcher at it, 40mm, it tells you that it was blocked. With the grenade, it doesn't seem to be doing anything, but I'm not sure. It does tell you with these, with all the explosives. It doesn't say anything with like a satchel. Let me show you that. It doesn't tell you that it's blocked, but it also doesn't do any damage. So right now it's at 37,000 hit points. So I'll run over there, and while that's going off, I'll show you this. So it also blocks bullet damage. Alright, so let's check this out. Yep, 37,000. So it's blocking it. It just doesn't pop up and say it's blocked. So when you use like a satchel or C4, for whatever reason. So, but yeah, I mean, I'm freaking impressed, man. So, because you could just set, if you're not using the Hunter's Bunker Tunnels mod and stuff like that, and you just want a simple raid schedule, then you can use that improved raid schedule and all the add-ons. I just didn't like the idea of having all those freaking stupid 3 mods just to get a raid schedule. Whenever expansion has it built in, I don't know why all these base building mod makers didn't put a raid schedule in. You know, when they made the mod, whatever. But also, PvP didn't put vanilla damage in either for some freaking reason. So who knows why they do what they do. But so let me show you the tools here. So I got it set up to where, why am I clicking on everything? Alright, so this was just for testing before I started adding all this stuff. So, but I have, this is for Hunter's mod, action, destroy code lock, blocking with a sledgehammer. It's supposed to work in my file. It's set up to work with the expansion propane torch, but it doesn't for some reason. So I gotta switch that to a different tool. I don't know why the expansion propane torch doesn't work to rate it, but the sledgehammer does. Rag, it's basically the same stuff except for the pickaxe. But I have base damage off anyway, just the doors. So, let's see. Building fortifications uses expansion settings. PvP is basically, sledgehammer, axes. And as you go up, you lose options. So, and then expansion. These are the explosives you can use to raid safes. You can use a propane torch, and then locks. These are the raiding options right here. You can change these. I changed these to what I wanted. I don't think this is how it came. So, but it's been a while since I messed with those. But that's how you set up the raiding tools. So. But this is basically how I got it. For the hunters, the Hunters mod, Bunker Tunnels mod, it's just a sledgehammer. It blocks that action. Expansion, Destroy Code Lock. This blocks all the rest of them. So I just put all the tools in that would work for all of them. Because they all use expansion code lock. If you're not using an expansion code lock and you're using the normal code lock, I'm sure it's a similar type of thing. I'm not sure. I'm not going to remove the expansion one and the bridge mod and put the normal code lock in because it's garbage anyway. So, I mean, it's not garbage. It's just old and looks crappy. So, and then I was trying this out. This is for attacking it with an the actual building, the door, not just the code lock. So I put that in there, and then the same thing with, because you can attack the door itself with these two. So that's why I put these in there. And then this was for the rearm mod. And then this was just some stuff I was trying out. It didn't really make any difference with anything. This is just one of the things that came up as an action. So I was just trying some stuff out, and this was the item, even though this is, that's not how it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be whatever. It's supposed to be whatever item you're using to attack it or whatever. But for some reason, that came up as the item. So I just tried it. Didn't really change anything. So, and then to block, like I was saying earlier, to block the damage for like the rag mod, you could just use like something like this, where you can't place a C4 or a improvised explosive or satchel. So, and you can't unprint a grenade, even though I don't think the grenades are doing any damage to it. But these are options you have if you wanted to do that, to where you could, if you set this to 1, it would block you from placing any of these. Set this to 1, it would block you from unpinning a grenade. And this is the settings for the damage settings up here. If you enable these, this is what you're blocking right here. So, yeah. So let's try it out. I'm not going to try like every tool. I just want to show you this. So the raid driver. So now that I have it set, it blocks it. Same on this. Anything that uses the expansion code lock, it seems to work. So. There you go. So I don't remember if it destroys it. Yeah. So it works on that too. But anything that you can raid that has the expansion code lock, it seems to work. It just doesn't work if it has an option to like destroy the door. You have to use a separate action for that, like this right here. See how you have the option to destroy the door? So now it's blocked, but it's a separate action than the destroy code lock would be. So you have to have 2 separate actions. This one's destroy code lock, so that's the same action. And this is the one I was telling you about, the Hunters mod Bunker Tunnels one. So Yeah, that's it. But I like it so far. I mean, there's a whole lot more you can do with it than just a raid schedule. That's the reason I wanted it. But there's a whole lot more you could do with it. If you had like a custom area you built, like a, let's say, a bunker, or a, I don't know, a walled off, you know, area that was like you were trying to set up like a team deathmatch area, or King of the Hill, you know, area, and use real tall walls with doors. You could make it to where nobody can open the doors except for when it's in, you know, a certain um, state, or, you know, whatever. You know, make it a PvE zone, and the doors won't open. You know, and then whenever it switches to a PvP zone, you know, you can open the doors and whatever. You can do all kinds of stuff with it. You know, you can make it to where you can't open a can of beans or a can of peaches like Ninjin shows in his video. You know, you can make it to where a certain gun can't damage a certain thing. You know what I mean? It's just all kinds of options. You know, so this is freaking cool. So, but there you go. So, I mean, to me, this is basically a universal raid schedule mod, but it's so much more than that. It's, you know, that's why I wanted it, but it's way more than that. So you could do so much stuff with it, and just customize little things here and there. You just got to figure out how you want to work it with the zones and stuff. So what I'll probably do is I'll leave it as when the raid zone is active, it restricts all the damage. Just so I don't have to worry about whether, you know, I don't want to have to worry about if I restrict, let's say, putting down a certain object. I don't want to worry about if I restrict that, it blocking it, like if somebody's not in a territory, not trying to raid. You know what I mean? Like if they want to set up a satchel or something to blow somebody up or something that's near them or whatever. You know, that's kind of stupid because they're gonna hear it beeping. But I'm just saying, I don't want to restrict that kind of stuff, other than in the territory when I don't want people raiding. So that's why I'm kind of using it backwards, instead of putting all these restrictions in PvP state, and then basically turning them off in raid mode. Also, if you're not using territories, or you're not restricting to only building in territories, it's going to be really hard to use that, because then, you know what I mean, it's going to restrict a lot, like all this stuff all over the map instead of just in your territories and whatever. So I don't know, that's just the way it seems the best for how I want to use it. I mean, maybe not, I don't know, but I like it so far. So Ninjin already did a video showing how to use it, but I just want to show it again, just in case somebody hasn't watched the video. I highly recommend, if you're interested in a mod like this, go watch Ninjin's video. He shows you all kinds of different options. But basically, to figure out what you want to restrict, like what action and item and all that stuff, you just basically do the action you want to restrict. Alright, and then you don't have to do it exactly like this. You can just minimize the game and go look at this log, which is right here. I'll show you where it's at. So this is my server files right here. Go to your config or profiles folder. Could be named something else if you use Nitrado or whatever. And then go to Ninjins Raid extension. There it is. Sorry, logging. And then action logs. And go to your most recent log. I don't know if it'll let you open it. Yeah, it will. Okay, so it'll let you open it while it's in game, and then you look at the bottom right here. So that's the one I want to restrict. And or this is the action I want to restrict. Sorry, it's on the wrong screen. So this is the action I want to restrict. And then this is the item. So if you set it up with he made this script that gives you the logs down here, which is freaking amazing. So basically all you got to do is, while you're playing the game with it in a little bit lower resolution so you can see around it, when you do the action, it'll pop up down here in the action log. And then this is the action I did right here. So action, code lock, Or wait, why did it show code lock set code? Let me try that again here. I need to reload it. Oh, I didn't reload it after I restarted the server, that's why. 1 second. There we go. Just reload all these. Alright. You don't need the game the game log in there. I just have it just, you know, for shits and giggles, just to see what it's writing as I'm playing. Alright, so let's try that again. So there you go. So, expansion, action, destroy lock is what you're looking for. You know, that's the action I was doing, which is this one. And then the item type or whatever, item enhanced sledgehammer, you want to put down here. And that'll block you from doing that action with that tool. So that's why I have all these in there, because these are all the possible tools you can use to raid those, the different things. So, and then you have to have it set to 1. And then also you have to, the state has to be set for whatever state you're in. You don't have to use it the same way I am. So mine this only blocks stuff in raid state. And right now I'm in PvP because I set the zone back to PvP instead of setting it to raid. So flag zone. If I set it to raid. Wait for that to reload the zones. There you go. Now it should block it. There you go. So now all you have to do if you want to set up like a raid schedule is edit your zone. And then just set up the days and times you want the zone to be active. So, you know, I'll basically set mine like Friday, starting at probably like 6 p.m. right after my restart. I do restarts at 6 a.m., noon, 6 p.m., and midnight. So I could do, you know, starting at 6 p.m. Friday, which would be 18 hours, to Sunday at, you know, just leave it at 24 hours basically. So start hour 0, you know what I mean? So you just, these other ones you would just turn them off, remove days, and then just leave it, put this start hour 18, end hour 24, leave these the same way, and then you would have the raid schedule from 6 p.m. Friday to Sunday at midnight. So there you go, that's what I'm going to do. So that's the whole reason I wanted this mod, and it works freaking amazing. So thank you, Ninjin, appreciate it. If anybody else has any questions, go to Ninja's Discord. He is the freaking man, and he is awesome when it comes to helping people. He's super active. I'll probably end up making, if you use expansion, vanilla, and like PvP and all that, I'll probably add my little config here to his server in the config share, and then I'll make one that's the other way around, where this stuff will be blocked all the time in like PvP, and then whenever the flag zone turns to raid mode, because that's the way he intended it to be originally, when the flag zone turns into raid mode, whatever hours you have it set where it's active, it'll disable everything, all the blocking. So I mean, this is just the way I like it. And then also if I set my flag to where the raid zone is only active if the flag is raised, then it encourages players to keep the flag raised also, because if it goes down, then they won't have the protection of the raid zone. So, alright, so I forgot one thing. I wanted to test actually setting up a raid schedule. So what I did was, it's been a little while since I finished the last part of that video because I had to wait for it to be at the top of the hour here. I set the Scheduled to start at 5 a.m. this morning to make it a PvP zone, or raid zone from PvP. So right now, it's not active, so I can raid. So it should become active in here in about a minute and a half. So like I said, I kind of like it set up this way. It's kind of backwards. To where when the raid zone is active, you get the protection, but I'll just you know, change stuff around so it's, it doesn't say, or, you know, during a raid schedule or whatever, but that way the restrictions are only active during a certain time, and I'm going to set it to where the flag has to be raised for it to be a raid zone. So that way, if players don't raise their flag on a regular basis, if they're not on the server, then it'll lower the flag, and people are free to raid their stuff anytime, not just on the weekend. And then if they don't come back and raise their flag after that, their stuff will start to despawn, so whatever. Alright. Alright, it's a raid zone now. Yep. There you go. Just wanted to test it, make sure it worked. I was sure it would. I mean, it's a pretty simple thing. I just wanted to make sure, and there you go. Everything's blocked, man. Freaking raid schedule, custom raid schedule, the way you want. It's a little more complicated to set up than just download a bunch of mods and setting a time for a raid schedule, you know, and it basically disables raiding, but I like this way better. So, alright, y'all, have a good one.